Day 3 of our bucket list Alaska cruise on the Viking Venus completely blew us away, and I can't wait to share it with you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Vicky, and this was my view as I opened the curtains as we pulled into our first port of Ketchikan. Such a beautiful day as we pick up our marine pilot. In Alaska waters, unless an exception is made, foreign flagged vessels over 65 feet in length must have a state-licensed marine pilot while in certain designated sections of Alaska waters. We decided to grab breakfast in the restaurant as we were still making our way to Ketchikan. Because of the close proximity of the tables, I chose not to film our dining experience out of respect to my fellow passengers, and because you would have only heard them talking and forks hitting plates.
Okay, we made it to Ketchikan, and today we're going on the hoverboat. So we'll see what that is like, because I'm getting out of my comfort zone. This is the port. This is where we're landing. Right down there.
Because Viking is a small fish in the Alaska cruise industry, we did not dock in the actual city of Ketchikan. We docked outside of the city in Ward Cove and were taken by shuttle bus to meet our tour guides for the Wilds of Alaska by Hovercraft Adventure. The ride took about 15 minutes, and as we entered the downtown area, we saw the big behemoth cruise ships that docked in the actual city of Ketchikan and how they towered over the surrounding buildings. Our bus driver shared this fun fact. As you're driving along the roadways, if you see greenery, then road, then water, you're no longer driving on land, as most of their roads are built above water. As we hopped off the bus, we met a representative from the tour company and were escorted to our hovercraft.
Matt is starting to kick those lift fans off. I got my handy dandy model here. Looks a little something like this. So as we start to get going here, we'll start to kick those lift fans on, start to fill the skirt up with air. And are any of you guys boaters in here? So what we're doing is a lot like getting up on step. We have a bubble underneath us. We're gonna try and lose that bubble as Matt tries to kick us off here. And once we lose that bubble, then we can start going fast. So at full hover, we have a max speed of about 60 miles an hour. So we can actually do freeway speeds in a hovercraft, which is pretty cool. On ice, it's said that we can go 100 miles an hour, but it never freezes here, so we don't get the chance to really test that at all. And we don't know how fast it goes on land because we don't have a strip of land long enough to test it.
As we passed one of the local barges, the captain informed us that everything from groceries to heavy equipment is delivered by barge because of the remoteness of Alaska. If the barge doesn't come in, they have to do without.
Welcome back to land. You wouldn't have even known if you weren't looking. And as we start to air down, you really feel how high up we are. Smooth as butter.
As we exited the hovercraft and started to look around, one of the guides began to whistle to call the bald eagles. Being from California, I completely dismissed the plural in that word because when we go on Eagle Watch, it's one camera pointed at one nest with one bird. Boy, were we in for a surprise.
We'll see if we can get a bunch of bald eagles to come down and feed for you guys.
Oh, cool. I haven't heard them. Call me in.
Start throwing.
Oh, look at that.
Here we go.
Oh, wow!
So, this one right here is a juvenile, and they're often mistaken for golden eagles. They look a lot similar, but they don't have that nice white ivory head yet.
Yeah.
The juveniles aren't going to get those nice white heads until about 5 years of their life. Bald eagles can live to be pretty old. They can live about 35 to 40 years and about 50 years old in captivity. Bald eagles lay about 1 to 3 eggs. So they can have up to 3 eaglets. You want to throw one?
You want to throw one?
Absolutely.
You want to throw one?
You're right in the water. Yeah.
Give her a hard toss that way, just to the shoreline here.
Close. Oops, sorry.
They'll come get it.
Close.
Anyone else?
See. Oh, there we go. Bald eagles can build really, really big nests. They can get up to about 8 feet wide and 10 feet deep, but the biggest nest is actually in Florida. That's 10 feet wide and 20 feet deep. Big old nest.
After that eagle frenzy, we had about 15 minutes to explore on our own. Once everyone dispersed, I was mesmerized by the quiet. It was now time for us to board the hovercraft and head back to port. Our guides apologized that we didn't see more wildlife, such as deer, otters, and seals, but none of us felt disappointed. One of the advantages of the hovercraft is it can be driven over debris, and in choppy water, it keeps a smooth ride because the hull is above water and the skirt contains most of the waves. While we booked this tour directly through the cruise line, I'll put a link in the description below so that you can actually reach out to the company yourself, compare prices, and see what's best for you. Typically, people say doing cruises, if you book through the cruise line, you're guaranteed that the boat will wait for you if the tour is late. So take that with a grain of salt and do your research accordingly. After such an awesome adventure, we decided to head back to the Viking Venus and take advantage of the peace and quiet of the ship instead of harshing our mellow by fighting the crowds on Creek Street. Plus, we were getting a little hungry and didn't want to wait for hours to get a table in downtown Ketchikan when there was a near-empty ship waiting for us back at Ward Cove. We boarded the ship and grabbed a bite to eat at the pool grill before heading back to the cabin to watch for pier runners. Happy to say, no one was left on the dock. Dinner that evening was at Manfredi's, the Italian restaurant, and it did not disappoint. Again, I only took pictures out of respect for my fellow diners. After dinner, we returned to the cabin to find a little present waiting for us. The clothes we had worn in Vancouver, freshly washed and neatly folded. Because of my 3-day nap in Vancouver, forcing me to take a step back and rest because I was burned out and didn't know it, not pushing through and going to do more touristy things after this tour, it was the best thing. Sometimes you gotta listen to your body, and there was no FOMO. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything else going to go see in Ketchikan with all the cruise ships, all the other cruisers in town, long lines, just stress and frustration. Knowing when enough is enough and just letting it go, that's where I am in life. I'm now at that point where less is more, and there was nothing that I could have done that would have topped what happened earlier that day. So if you've been on a cruise and you've gone on excursions, have you done more of the touristy things, more of the laid back, hang out in nature things, or a little bit of both? And if you made it this far with me, here's a sneak peek at day 4 of our time in Sitka.
I would like to welcome you to Alaska Storytellers' historical dance show, the Russian-American Saga.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in Sitka.